So I have a lot of people in the comments from my last post saying this and that and how, if I haven't done this, or you're not explaining things correctly, or I'm still confused, or I just have people overcomplicating things, making it seem like this and that and that and this. And I'm tired, so what I'm going to do is show you what I'm talking about. There are success stories from Tumblr and basically where I get my info from as well, so you guys can understand what the freak I'm talking about. Because I keep responding to people and telling them the same thing over and over again, like you guys just can't comprehend how simple this is, and this is not a method. People keep thinking that it's a method. It's never been a method. This is just going back to basics. You guys are so reliant on methods for everything. Not everything has to be a freaking method, so here are some posts from Tumblr to further explain what I'm talking about, because I'm no longer wasting my time re-explaining things when I can just copy and paste them in. And no, I didn't steal this from anyone at all. I learned all my info about the void pure consciousness from Tumblr. I'm not stealing anything from anyone, I'm just giving you guys the same info I have learned and collected over the past few months. Let's begin. I don't think it actually clicked for y'all that pure consciousness is just a state of consciousness. He wrote this post basically to explain 3 different states of consciousness. The awake state, sleep state, and pure consciousness. You can't force yourself to become neither. We all know that we can't force ourselves to sleep. However, we can do things that can help us slip into the sleep state. Just as we can't force ourselves to sleep, we can't force ourselves to induce pure consciousness. We can do things that can help us slip into the pure state of consciousness, but we can't force our states of consciousness to switch to the other. People may say delta waves is the cheat code to enter the void, but it's not. Delta waves is a tool, and tools are meant to help us start. Aside from that, and for the centillionth time, the void state is not an actual void you're transporting yourself into. It's not a void outside of you, nor a void inside of you. Now hear me out again. It is not a void literally inside of you. It is not a place. You're not being transported or traveling anywhere. You're not traveling into your mind. It is simply awareness. What you are aware and not aware of. When you are pure consciousness, you aren't aware of anything happening in the 3D, cause your focus was away from the 3D. When we're pure consciousness, our mind is active cause our focus is only on our thoughts cause we are thinking, or our focus is only on our daydreams cause we are daydreaming, or whatever our inner voice is saying. We are being aware of our 4D. Everything is awareness. Whatever you place your awareness on will manifest the state of consciousness you'll be experiencing. That when you think of pure consciousness as an actual void, that'll manifest all your desires instantly, and not a state of consciousness where you're only aware of your 4D. You will find yourself jumping from method to method cause you're seeing pure consciousness for something it's not. You think too highly of a state of consciousness that when you awake. Is the word awake constantly on your mind before you wake up? Do you try your hardest to wake up? Do you stress about being able to wake up? Do you become anxious by the thought of waking up? How about when you are asleep? Is the word sleep constantly in your mind before you sleep? Do you try your hardest to be able to sleep? Do you stress about being able to sleep? Do you become anxious by the thought of sleeping? So what's the actual difference with pure consciousness? You can manifest while you're awake, and you can manifest while you're asleep. You can manifest in literally any state of consciousness. So what's the actual difference? When you'll understand that awake, asleep, and pure consciousness are all on the same level, then you'll realize that all the mental gymnastics you'll like to perform were for nothing. You'll don't see sleeping nor being awake as all that. Do the same with pure consciousness and stop thinking too hard about pure consciousness too. Inducing pure consciousness is subconsciously convincing yourself that you're in the purest state of consciousness. In doing this, we will manifest a transition from the awake state to the purest state. We are subconsciously telling ourselves that we are no longer in the awake state of consciousness but in the purest state of consciousness instead. This meaning that inducing pure consciousness, waiting for a shift, symptoms, something to happen. Inducing pure consciousness, only being aware of your thoughts, 4D, and forgetting about the 3D are, yes, desperation, one of our biggest enemies. Followed by impatience, followed by our doubts. And the cycle repeats. But where was this desperation rooted? At the thought of getting all of your desires instantly, at the idea that the void state is hard to achieve, and you must do everything right to get your desires. Where is your desperation rooted? Well, one thing's for sure, desperation can take a toll on us. But what kind of attitude do you have? A trying attitude or whatever, I'ma just do it and stop worrying about everything attitude cause another thing's for sure. The second attitude can literally help you realize that pure consciousness was actually really easy to induce and that you overcomplicated this state of consciousness the entire time until then. The moment you become pure consciousness, I'm 100% sure you'd say it was that easy cause it really is. When you are desperate to induce pure consciousness, you'd Focus on your body here and there. Focus on time. Wonder if you're doing anything wrong. Wonder when you'll feel symptoms. Try to force yourself into the void. Cry cause you didn't enter the void. Tell yourself that you need to do something different, or that you need to add steps to what you're currently trying. Desperation, impatience, doubts, and you'll keep repeating this cycle until you give up. But what exactly are you giving up on trying? The method you were using or everything on a whole? How about you give up trying and start having a whatever attitude when you're inducing pure consciousness? Stop caring about your physical feelings. Stop caring about time. Stop caring about literally everything and just do what you gotta do. You can literally induce pure consciousness at any time of the day. Stop being so desperate to get to some place you think you're trying to get to, but you're not, guys. I am telling you, pure consciousness is literally just you. So quit the desperation. Realize that the void state isn't some magical pitch black plain white place you're trying to enter. You're just changing your state of consciousness, which sounds difficult, but aren't you awake reading this? And that's called a state of consciousness. You are aware of your surroundings and your physical senses. We are always in a state of consciousness. Pure consciousness is just another state of consciousness. Let's view pure consciousness for what it really is. RQ. So pure consciousness, no physical senses. You become conscious of only your thoughts, nothing. That's it. So why are you so desperate to get to some place that isn't where you're trying to get to? So get sober. I genuinely feel bad for persons who overcomplicate the void state or view it as something it's not. I was there too. It took me about 11 months to eventually realize that I shouldn't be scared of inducing the void state awake. I shouldn't be scared of failure, cause it doesn't actually exist when I'm tapping into the void state awake. NGL, cause it's so simple. My excitement of realizing I'm in the void state, which then I put awareness on my hearing, is one of the reasons why I haven't affirmed yet. But soon you'll. But I genuinely hope you'll don't run to methods left, right and center like I used to. And just go back to the basics. Relax your body, focus on the darkness behind your eyelids, affirm, daydream, think pure consciousness. Now for the success stories. Anonymous asked, girl, guess who entered the void twice this morning? It's so easy. I was lying down while listening to the HFG audio, but I just relaxed my body and mind while imagining scenes. Just so I wouldn't focus on my body and anything that was happening around me, and that's when the audio voice disappeared and everything went dark and started spinning. I ended up leaving when I thought about the audio voice again and turned my attention outside. I was so sleepy that I fell asleep while listening to the HFG. And again I woke up, everything was so silent and dark. After reading your posts I realized I was overcomplicating the void state, so this morning I decided to enter the void state. I listened to brown noise and I affirmed entering the void state is easy. The 3D doesn't matter. After a while I stopped hearing brown noise. I stopped feeling my body. I was inside myself and nothing existed but me, but I realized all this after I came out of that state. I think I was in the void state. But how to realize the void state when I am in the void state? By the way, when I came out of that state I looked at the time and 51 minutes have passed. So you were right when you said you can induce the void state awake within this very hour. Elia, I would like to thank you for making us realize how easy it is to enter the void. I wish I had found your blog a long time ago. You have brought the true essence of the void back to this community. I definitely used to procrastinate or just read some success stories and try the same as everyone else. I was oversimplifying and consuming too many different bloggers just like you. I had some moments of doubt and things 3D got out of hand to the point where I couldn't even find the motivation to step into the void. Although I had already entered the void through lucid dreams, it still happened in the month of June, but every time I didn't know how to react, so I ended up leaving as soon as I thought about waking up. But in these last few days that I found your blog, I really understood how easy it is to enter the void. I changed my thoughts in relation to 3D and the void. All the despair went away. Acquiesced in these last few days. I have entered the void several times. The only thing I have to do now is not think about my physical body or about waking up. And exactly a few hours ago I was reading, but I feel so tired that I just lay down and watch the darkness behind my eyelids, without thinking about anything else or making affirmations. And guess what? I entered the void without any effort. I came out when my mother came to wake me up to eat, but I feel very happy. I know that very soon I will send you my success story. I know you'll never know who I am, but I want to thank you for making me know how to change my life. You made me realize how easy it was to go into the void state. And with me not shifting or manifesting at all, one night I just decided to meditate. Guess who went into the void state? I tried manifesting while I was in the void state and it worked. One of the things I manifested was to get motivated for my hobby. I felt my writer's block fading away when I was done. But weirdly enough, I didn't get excited. It felt normal. I felt a calm sense of accomplishment, and that was that. I just felt calm. I feel like reading your posts every day really helped me. Thank you for helping people with the void state. I'm going to change my life with this power. Hey, so I looked through all of your stuff on the void ND. I was a little skeptical cause I felt like I've tried everything. But I got really relaxed for the first time, like really relaxed ND. I entered within minutes, prob less than 5. I didn't realize till afterwards, but it was EASY, so I tried it last night just for fun. ND, it happened again. I didn't manifest anything cause I was just so happy, but thank you cause now I know I can enter. It's really simple guys. Now you got more info. Now please leave me alone. Stop arguing with me about stuff I know works. If you have any reasonable questions, I'll answer them, that is all. Maya Rhodes was once on top of the world by 28. She had built a thriving marketing firm in New York City, had a dream apartment, and her face was on business magazines as a rising star. But behind the scenes, she was exhausted, emotionally drained, and increasingly disconnected from her purpose. Success came fast, and so did burnout. One night, after losing a major client and facing betrayal from a close business partner, Maya sat alone in her apartment and felt the terrifying emptiness. The void. She had everything she once thought she wanted, but none of it filled her anymore. She closed her company within 6 months. Into the void with no plan, Maya disappeared from the business world. She moved back to her hometown in Michigan. Days turned into months as she tried to understand who she was without her title or status. She worked part-time at a local bookstore and journaled every day, asking the same question, what am I meant to do now? One day she read a quote that stuck with her. Success isn't about filling your pockets, it's about filling your purpose. That was her turning point. The spark returns. Maya began volunteering at a youth center, teaching teens how to market their art and passions online. Slowly she realized what truly lit her up: helping others tell their story and build something meaningful. She wasn't chasing validation anymore, she was chasing impact. She started a small project called Rooted Rising, a digital mentorship platform helping young creators build ethical and impactful brands. It wasn't flashy, but it felt right. Within 2 years, it grew into a national movement with thousands of members and dozens of success stories. A new definition of success. Maya was invited back to speak at the same magazine that once labeled her a failure, but this time, she spoke not about strategy or hustle, but about resilience, identity, and redefining success. She told them you can lose everything and still come out richer if you find your why. I filled the void not with things, but with meaning. That's when the success returned, not as pressure, but as purpose. Maya Rhodes didn't grow up with much, raised by a single mother who juggled 2 jobs. Maya developed grit early. She believed success meant escaping poverty, proving people wrong, and never being vulnerable again. She became relentless, graduated top of her class, turned internships into career gold, and by 26, owned a 7-figure agency. People admired her, envied her, and tried to imitate her, but when she looked in the mirror, she didn't see power. She saw pressure. The success she chased didn't make her whole, it made her hollow. Burnout disguised as bravery. Despite hitting milestone after milestone, something always felt missing. She convinced herself that burnout was normal, loneliness was a price of leadership, and sleep was optional, but her body disagreed. Anxiety attacks became weekly. She stopped taking client calls. She avoided her team. Then, after losing her biggest client and discovering her business partner had been siphoning funds, she crashed, emotionally, physically, and professionally. That night, I stared at the ceiling in my apartment and asked what now. I had everything and felt nothing. The void was real. Unraveling, she moved back to her childhood town, not in defeat, but survival. No luxury, no applause, just her, a rented room, and silence. At first, it was unbearable. She was nobody again. She even considered giving up entirely. But the stillness forced her to confront herself. The void wasn't there to destroy me, it was there to show me where I'd lost myself. She started seeing a therapist, journaling, and reading again, not to impress anyone, but to heal. Seeds of purpose. At the library, she met a group of high school teens struggling with confidence and creativity. She offered to teach them how to brand themselves and share their passions online. It started with 5 kids. Word spread. She called it Rooted Rising because success, she now believed, must be rooted in purpose, not ego. In 2 years, it became a national nonprofit. Her story went viral, not for her past success, but for her comeback. The void taught me that success without soul is just noise. I'm not chasing trophies anymore. I'm building something I believe in. Maya never intended to build a movement. What started as a small act of service, helping 5 teenagers believe in their voices, quickly grew beyond her imagination. Students shared their wins, parents told others, and local media caught on. But what made Rooted Rising different wasn't its tools, it was its heart. Maya didn't teach people how to succeed, she reminded them why they were worthy of it, and in giving others purpose, she found her own. I didn't rebuild my empire, I rebuilt my essence. The story of Zara. A ripple becomes a wave. Zara was one of the first girls Maya mentored. She had talent, digital art, storytelling, even coding, but trauma and poverty made her doubt herself. She'd lost her father to addiction, and her mother worked nights cleaning offices. Zara told Maya, "People like me don't get out, we survive. We don't succeed, let's make surviving mean something first, then we'll aim for thriving." They worked on a simple goal: build an online portfolio of Zara's art. That portfolio led to freelance gigs. Those gigs paid for a laptop. That laptop helped her get into college on a full scholarship. Now Zara runs a creative agency employing 12 women from underserved neighborhoods, and at her office entrance a framed quote from The Void: "We rise the philosophy success." Maya began writing a book called The Void is the beginning. It wasn't about business tactics or morning routines, it was about inner work, emotional clarity, and what it truly means to be well and win.